Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Lan from the hashtag Walk with Lan. Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss one of the most important foundations in software engineering, and that is the software development life cycle. But before that, let me just share to you my other screen so that you can see my slide. Okay, there you are. Okay, so So if you want to become a professional developer, systems analyst, IT project manager, or a software engineer, understanding the software development lifecycle is non-negotiable. This framework is the reason why successful systems and secured systems are structured, reliable, and scalable. So if you are ready, let's begin. So what is software development lifecycle or SDLC? Okay, it is a structured process and maybe it's a disciplined one used to develop high quality software in a systematic and controlled manner. So that's why I have said disciplined. Think of software development lifecycle like constructing a building. You start with the foundation. You don't just start mixing cement and stacking hollow blocks. What are the process? You plan, you design, you construct, you inspect, and then you maintain. Software development follows the same logic. Without structure, projects fail. So the SDLC, it consists of a process. It consists of phases. And as you see on your respective screens, we have six phases, namely planning, requirements analysis, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. But just a heads up, in other books, in other authors, okay, yes, indeed, we have phases, but sometimes it is interchangeable. They interchange it, and others also are renaming it. Okay, so for example, in planning, some of the authors, some of the books or companies, they uh, change that into analysis, for example. Okay, yeah. Oh, of course, each phase has a specific purpose. So later on, we will be dealing with that. No. Now, skipping. Maybe you would ask, is it okay to skip? For example, can I skip the phase one planning? But to tell you, skipping one phase increases risk, cost, and failure probability because you were not able to do the requirements there. Maybe in the other stage or phase, it could be able to have a risk or a probability of failure. Let's start with the phase one, planning. This is where everything starts. In the planning phase, we identify what problem are we trying to resolve. That's why IT professionals, software engineers, etc., are considered solutions-oriented individual. But how are you able to solve if you do not know what is the problem? So what problem are we solving? Is the project feasible? Maybe you would just have that in 10 years, 20 years. How much will it cost? Okay, would it be handled by your budget? How long will it take? Would it take 10 years, 5 years to develop? Okay, maybe the moment you develop that, okay, there will be another technology for that matter. What are the risks involved? We perform feasibility studies, no? Okay, what are those feasibility studies? Technical feasibility, economic feasibility, operational feasibility. If planning is weak, the entire project collapses. Many failed startups skip proper planning. They were not able to plan. Let's proceed with phase two. That is the requirements analysis. In this phase, we gather detailed requirements from the stakeholders and users. That's why we do we do talk to our stakeholders and users. By the way, no, some in other books, no, phase one and phase two are combined already. But here on this, for the sake of this discussion, requirements analysis is in phase two. There are two types of requirements: functional requirements, what the system must do. Example, maybe uh, the system could be able to add students, compute grades, generate reports. That is functional requirements. Non-functional requirements, how the system should perform. Okay, so non-functional, it refers to the performances. No, okay, maybe the requirement is it must load for 2 seconds, must handle 1,000 users, must be secure. No, but the security itself is a separate thing. Meaning, without the requirements itself, you should be thinking um of these requirements as a must. Okay, as a must, the security of the users. So if users data, if requirements are misunderstood, even perfect coding cannot save the system. That's why phases one and two are important thing to consider also. Okay, phase three. Now we create the blueprint of the system. Okay, it's like building a house. You should have a blueprint first. Just like architects creating building proof blueprints, systems designers create systems architecture, database schema, ER diagrams, wireframes, module structure. There are two levels, huh? High level design, overall architecture, low level design, detailed database tables, and algorithms. So all of these things we were um, able to encounter this in the past. Okay, so a good design prevents future problems. Maybe why are you so designing meticulously? Because we do not want to have future problems on this. Okay, let's proceed with phase four. Okay, let's proceed with phase four. That's implementation. This is the in the implementation. This is the coding phase. Now, developers now convert design into working software. Okay, so you have those design. You just need to follow the design through the codes. Okay, so they write source codes. Okay, develop modules, integrate front end and back end. You should have a front end and back end. Front end, these are the things that can be seen by the users. Okay, so you have the good design, and on the back end, these are most likely these are the databases that you have. Use version control like Git. No, follow coding standards. So in a way, we have coding standards as well. This is where teamwork becomes critical. No, this is part of the team. However, remember, good coding cannot fix poor planning. Even though you have a good source code, okay, but when there was a bad design, it cannot be able to save. Okay, for phase five, testing ensures the system works correctly before deployment. Okay, so once you are done with your coding, it should be tested. No, there are types of testings. No, like integration testing. Okay, testing modules together. Unit testing, testing individual functions. System testing, testing the entire system. Okay, user acceptance testing, wherein the clients could be able to see and they are able to test the system by themselves, and then it could be able to the clients would be approving it. It's like a testing test drive of the car. No, testing. The importance of the testing is you can be able to discover bugs, errors, okay, security vulnerabilities, performance issues. Remember the functional and non-functional requirements that I have stated. Okay, so for example, functional requirements, you are required to add students, but After after having the two students, you cannot be able to add a student already. Okay, so that is a major flaw on the functional requirements. And then in the non-functional, you are required to that the particular window would load in 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, but it is loading for 1 minute. So that is a major flaw. Okay, so no testing means unstable systems. Okay, all right, phase 6. No, SDLC does not end after deployment. Maintenance is continuous. There are four types. Okay, there are four types: corrective, fixing bugs; adaptive, adapting to new environments; perfective, improving performance; and preventive, enhancing security. Okay, for example, when apps update features or fix security patches, that is maintenance. Maintenance can last for years. Okay, that's why the this particular phase, last phase, is maintenance because it can last for for a couple of years. Okay, so let's apply SDLC for a real project. No, so imagine developing a cafe plus plus system for a school cafeteria. Okay, so you have planning, identify problems in manual billing, requirements, list billing, and inventory features. Three, design, create databases and UI layout. Okay, database design, that's quite important also. Implementation, you code that, no? Develop, you write a code using C++. That's why it's very important that you identify a programming language for this particular one, no? So others would develop this in Java, JavaScript, or in R, in Python, whatever. Okay, and testing, test fix billing errors, no? Okay, so in your on your testing, you were able to find out that there are errors specifically in the billing module. Okay, so you fix that, and then in the maintenance, add online ordering feature if there are needed features to be added. That is SDLC in action. So every successful system follows this structure. Okay, so we are into the last slide. Thank you so much. To summarize, SDLC. Okay, so there's another. SDLC provides a structure. Each phase has a purpose. As what we have discussed, each phase has a purpose. And then skipping phases increases risk. Following SDLC or software development lifecycle improves quality and reduce cost later on. So you should start quality at when you do it first. Professional developers respect the process. Discipline in development separates amateurs from professionals. Okay, I will leave you with this question, ladies and gentlemen. But before that, please do subscribe and share it to your classmates and friends. Which SDLC phase do you think is the most important and why? Is it planning, requirements, testing? There is no simple answer, but one thing is certain: every phase matters. Thank you, and I hope this session strengthened your understanding of SDLC. Let me just stop sharing. Okay, so if this lecture helped you understand software development lifecycle better, share it with your classmates and future developers and friends. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more simplified ID concepts. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.